This is the question of how this will end, right? What will it take for Vladimir Putin to end Russia's assault on Ukraine? Here's what the Undersecretary of State for Political Affairs, Victoria Nuland, told the Senate Foreign Relations Committee.
The way this conflict will end is when Putin realizes that this adventure has put his own leadership standing at risk, and he will have to change course, or the Russian people take matters into their own hands. But from the U.S. perspective, the end game is the strategic defeat of President Putin in this adventure.
Joining us now to discuss, we have CNN Foreign Affairs analyst Kim Dozier and CNN senior political analyst John Avlon. I will say, I think Putin can see that point from Sanctionsville, where he is currently located, because he's starting to see how everyone's life in Russia is going to be affected. But I just don't know how close it is. What do you think, Kim?
You know, look, he won't listen to criticism from his inner circle. He's insulated from popular opinion, and he's already put in legislation in place to punish anyone for speaking the truth. I think this is, if the U.S. is waiting for him to realize that he's at odds with the world and therefore pull out of Ukraine, it ain't going to happen.
What do you think?
I think the worldwide economic full court press, what the Russians just called economic warfare against Putin, will have an impact, is having an impact. The question is, what's the timing of that? Because
Eventually,
right.
We're looking months, a
but,
year.
But this is not a slow roll economic issue for Russia right now. This is hitting the Kremlin kleptocrats where they live. It also is impacting just daily life in Russia. How much can the disinformation outweigh that? How much can his full press on Kyiv extend against that? It ultimately does come down to a risk-reward ratio. It's also the long-term issue of how can he hold Kyiv? How can he hold a country of 44 million people who are going to fight him every step of the way indefinitely? But this is still, we're still in one of these trajectory-defining moments 2 weeks in. I don't think people should be defeatist about Putin's ability to resist, because we've already seen that we overestimated Russia's strength militarily in this operation.
Yeah, and to that point, I mean, if he's feeding so much disinformation to people, and as we understand it, believing it himself, he's getting high on his own supply of propaganda. Yes. How can you trust him to actually be rational about this calculation?
I still think that it's going to take a China to step in and say, what you're doing is hurting the economy such that it's hurting our bottom line, and providing him some sort of face-saving way out of it. And I just think we're a long way from getting to that tension point. Because at this point, you know, the common people on the street might be feeling it, but he and the oligarchs, they've got reserves, and he can also turn the psyche of the people into this, you know, embattled, martyred, it's the world against us. And that has a way of drawing people together for a long time to come.
Let's look at what was really an amazing moment, right? This was President Zelensky speaking to the British House of Commons yesterday, and he seemed to evoke Winston Churchill. Let's listen.
We will not give up, and we will not lose. We will fight till the end, at sea, in the air. We will continue fighting for our land, whatever the cost. We will fight in the forests, in the fields, on the shores, in the streets.
That is no accident.
No, not at all. That is an intentional, direct echo of Churchill's famous speech from June 4th, 1940, "We will fight them on the beaches, we shall never surrender." And that's why it was greeted with a standing ovation in British Parliament. Zelensky's speeches have been able to inspire and change policy when it comes to speaking to people in the West. And one of the big questions at the outset of this, I think, for a lot of folks was, is Zelensky a former comedian, actor? Is he going to be Ashraf Ghani, or is he going to be Winston Churchill? We now know the answer. He's going to be Winston Churchill.
Yeah.
And he's drawn the people together in a way that he stiffened their spine. Now, I know that a lot of foreign diplomats would like him to leave, but they now understand he's not leaving Kyiv, and if he is assassinated by the Russians in the process, he becomes a martyr, and that continues to draw the Ukrainian people together. As one diplomat told me, he becomes the most famous Ukrainian of all time.
He's almost single-handedly, I think, especially because he's evoking so much World War II through so much of what he's saying, John. He's almost single-handedly making people, Western allies, wonder, oh my God, is this the beginning of a World War III? And if it is, and whatever comes after this, what are we going to do right now? Right? He's sort of a reckoning that he's creating.
Well, look, I mean, I think one of the things that this invasion has made us realize is that many of us took the peace created after the Second World War for granted. The liberal international order that was established by America and its allies, and it is a rules-based society. That's what Vladimir Putin is directly attacking, as well as the people of Ukraine. And we are confronting that every day. It has caused us to double down on our defense of these alliances. That NATO and the Western world is more united now because we're not taking this for granted because of Vladimir Putin's aggression. And Zelensky is in a position to highlight that. So yes, I think we realize now why these institutions were created, why they need to be defended, why we need to defend the liberal democratic order. Because of things like this. Because the alternative is people who believe that might makes right. People who believe they can lie to their people and rule by force and murder to get their way. And we cannot allow that to be the trajectory of the 21st century.
Yeah, I think there was also this thought in World War II, oh, they'll just stop at Poland, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people wonder,
Guess what?
oh, will he really just stop at Ukraine? You know, like what comes
Sudan
after
land.
this?
Yeah.
Kim, John, thank you so much for the discussion.